Hello and welcome back to the MindTrack.net game server. I'm currently working on the Enterprise E project, or the prelim to it, and I went ahead and I put some of my escape pods up through here and dead dropped them, sand. And what I'm doing now is I'm going through and I'm placing the hatches in the pattern that M. Heller has designed for them, as you can see up there. And I've already ran into a problem. This is why it is so very, very important to make sure you have all your exterior hatches and things like that where you need them. As you can see, I'm going to end up having to reroute a lot of this corridor through here, because this is all going to be escape hatches, or escape pods. So this whole area here, which I was hoping, I didn't really rework this deck. All I did was make sure that the corridors were wide enough. That's all this red is for. So yep, I'm gonna come back through here and work a lot of this in. I mean, if you look, it doesn't really impede anywhere, but I've also got to come down here, and this is why this big section I think was originally set aside. This is where the pods themselves are most likely going to be located, is right down through here. In which case, this corridor will most likely, absolutely probably have to go. So, anyways, wanted to get that on camera here, or well, on a recording. But all I'm doing at this point is I'm replacing the sand with, well, deleting the sand and placing my marker blocks, my hatch cover blocks here. Let me go ahead and turn that block placing sound down here. Ambient noise, overall volume, just turn that down. There we go. Oops. We don't want to delete that. We only want to delete the sand. What I did is I kept the space in between the hatches even at 3. And you can see it matches up really well to the upper part up there, which is what we want. Talking to M, and the ship is most likely not going to have a separation ability, so it'll be one big ship. I think we will, just to be on the safe side, probably copy the model that's below here, because this is just a part of the ship that we're working on, and set it up so that if we do decide to actually go ahead and go with a separation version of the ship, we'll have the model set aside and we can easily modify it. Well, it wouldn't be easy, but we would modify it and turn it into a ship that can separate. But the working idea at this point, plan anyways, is the ship will not separate. So getting kind of eager get these placed to see how they look inside of the ship. I went through all the reference material I have. The ship that we're building is post-Nemesis era, so it's pretty much anything goes as far as design. And the Sovereign class itself, including the Enterprise E, which is a Sovereign class ship, has gone through a considerable amount of refitting between the first time we've seen it in First Contact and the time following the events of Nemesis, where the ship was totaled and they had to completely rebuild it, or rebuild the front section of the ship. So this era, or this ship, will be post-Nemesis, post-refit era. So anything goes. Part of you wants to delete those. They don't really serve a purpose, but they're uniform, so we'll go ahead and just leave them as is. I see things like that and I just want to go clean them up. There's a lot of work that's going to have to be done in this hall. It mentioned that he knows he knows where a lot of the flaws are, and he'll fix them as he does the hall work. There'll be some areas where the hall will have to be raised by one level, just for contouring purposes and things like that. Anything to do with the hall, I leave to M. M has a lot better tools determining where angles need to be and things like that than I do, as evident with the Voyager build. Now, ideally this should be one more back, one more back, one more back. But when I dead dropped them, I tried to keep them as close to the pattern that was up here as I could. But it's really hard to tell with this the way it is. So I just went with this one, started with this one. And yeah, maybe it does have to go one more back. Yeah, I'll move these back one. All of them, move them back one. That might make it a little bit, well, if I do that, then it'll alter the inside area. So, darn it. I don't know what to do. Well, the back end of it fits just fine. So, I'm gonna go ahead and go with yeah, I should go ahead and move them back one. I'll do that off recording. Actually, I'll probably just do it real quick here. Wouldn't be that hard to do it. Well, parts of it anyways. Let's go over here and do it this way. Cut. Paste. There we go. And I'll just fill in these holes here. On this one, I'll just do it this way. I know I could just hit the tool to replace it, but I'm lazy. Oh, not lazy, but you know. See? Easy fix. Which means there's going to be a lot of modifying on the deck below us, on the decks below us, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. I mean, I'd rather catch these kind of issues early on than not, because they're easy enough to overcome at this stage than they would be at say a much later stage, like with the Voyager. You know, if we hadn't caught some of the issues with it early on, oh brother, I don't even want to think about the nightmare that would have been to have to go back and retrofit all of that. So I'd rather catch them now and deal with them now. This is kind of the reasons why this part of the ship has been pulled away, is so that we can do this stuff. I think it's, yeah, I'll go that way. I forgot how that looked. Oops. If I got it wrong, we can fix it later. I'll just look back at the video and see what the video says. But yeah, you know, I didn't want to do any of this on the actual model itself, because I knew it was going to most likely get changed considerably, and I didn't feel like going through and, you know, mucking up the model and then not being able to remember, you know, damaging it to the point where we have to do a major rollback on it. So I'd rather just, you know, work on it aside, get the overall design set up for how we want it to look, address issues like this, and so on and so forth. It looks a lot better. I'll just move this back too, so I know that these are still in line where they're supposed to all match up. This is pretty easy stuff right through here. I left, like I said, I left a space of 3 between them. Granted, up there it's 4, but you know, 1 red, 1 gray, 1 red, so it should all be okay. Should all be just fine. I'm going to move this 1 over, so I'll just do it this way. We will cut, zip in, paste. Done. Reason I'm leaving these up here is so we have a reference in case we do have to move them again. There's another set of escape pods that go around this phaser strip on the bottom side of it, right up against it. Here they are right here. And they will be, the looks of them, the they're turned so that they basically look like this. If I can remember the actual pattern. Whoops. So, but yeah, they slightly turn. And on the models, they are as well. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I would prefer to stick with the current setup the way it is, with the hatches, like so. Or excuse me, maybe like so. So, I don't know. We'll look it over and see what we can come up with. I'll get them placed where I want them placed, and then I'll leave it to him. They're going to be staggered, of course, so I want to be like this. That'll be the front of one, and then the next one would be like here, and then the next one. You know, it just depends on how I can get them correctly shaped. You can see the, well, it looks like they're different patterns all over. I'll play with it, I'll get it set up, and I'll drag drop them, and if they look good, we're good to go. If they don't look good, we'll change them. Love how it'll all work. But I got to get all these hatches placed. I don't really need to worry about it down there right now, per se, because I'm nowhere near the bottom side of that face. Well, actually I am. Actually I am. I am there, so I definitely have to drop those. So, and then they got the ones out here that need to be dropped as well. I'll need to drop those because I'm right at that phaser strip as well. So those will need to be dropped. And I think there's some forward. Yeah, there is on the forward part of the phaser strip as well. There's some up there. Now, we were toying around with. Let's drop down here real quick, and you can see some of the hull stuff. You know, little things like this. That have to be kind of sorted out and stuff, and contoured and cleaned. I can fix this one right now because that is not going to float. See, just little things like that will have to be done. And you know, when you get to things like this, is that really needed to be there? And just little cleanup, like things like that, you can see it does make a difference on the hull. But then again, ultimately the hull is going to be the purvey of Imheller, because he's the guy that knows the most about it. When I set these up through here, I went ahead and just set them up, and I figured if there was going to be an issue, we could you know, talk about raising this section of the ship up all the way around, and then M would just use this section here to contour it. And I think M came to the same conclusion. So what I figured, when I set these up, I'll just set them up, and then we'll worry about to move the hull or not. And if we don't need to move it, no big deal. If we do move it, at least we have it set up so we can move it. And the crew quarters and all that stuff look great. Another thing we're going to have to do is make sure that where there are crew quarters and rooms that require windows, those rooms are correctly placed, and the windows themselves are also correctly placed. So that's pretty much it. Not a lot really has been done. I'll show you the interior section here for this is the pattern I used. So, kind of like this. But the actual pattern I'm using is this one. Because the red the magenta may or may not be the actual pod, but I got to make sure that there is plenty of room set aside for it. And that there's actually plenty of room set aside for it. So that's the only reason I went with that extra wide pod. And if it's too wide, you know, it's no big deal, because the actual space for it's going to have quite a bit of space around it for the pod to fit. And if you mouse this up, you can see that the hatch is perfectly in line with this. So I'm willing to bet that this right here is the actual wall of the pod. So that's the size I went with, and that's the size I'm keeping. There we go. And back here, I just did drop these. I have no idea where they're going to be at, so I know this is going to require a modification. So go ahead and get these situated here real quick. And I was playing a little Star Trek Online earlier, and I don't know what happened. I got distracted, but ended up corrupting my account somehow. I couldn't log into my account. It froze, and I can't move my character, can't access any inventories or anything else like that. So I put in a tech ticket for Cryptic, which means they may or may not address it in the next 6 months to a year. So, and I've read that some other people are having problems too. It has to do with the latest performance update and stuff. So hopefully it'll get taken care of. I enjoy playing the game. I just don't enjoy all the bugs and stuff that go with it. Yep, this corridor is going to have to be moved one in to accommodate. Actually, have to be moved more than one. What I might do here, so I think I'll switch this from sides to, well, I can't because there's a turbolift right here. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I was thinking move it into a one thing here. Again, this right here is for cargo. This is a small cargo area. I'm thinking if we do, well, because it's kind of hard to call it. I don't know if this is going to be a hatch or a torpedo launcher. I really don't know. I think it's a hatch. And if I look at the deck plans, it's actually a lounge, another big lounge. And I wonder. Shh! Don't tell anyone. If this is the lounge area, then I can easily drop this down. If this is an aft torpedo launcher, we can go one up. So, got to figure out how to do this. I'm gonna look at the deck plans for this deck with these here, and I got to make sure that when I set them in here, since this is the edge of the pod, this would be the wall. So this corridor would definitely have to be moved in one. No doubt about it. It would have to be moved in one. Now I can, well, again, I want to double check, make sure. Because I can move these one more out towards the edge, or two more out towards the edge. Let's go up here and see what it looks like up here. You know what? I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to move these, even though they're correctly placed. I'm going to go ahead and move them two out. Move them two out, two forward rather. Because I don't want to tweak that deck unless I absolutely have to. So go here. We'll just cut it, and then we'll add a block or two. Cut. 1, 2, and paste. Alright, now they're 2 in from where they were originally. And we'll do the same thing with these. We'll just move it back. We'll move it in 2. So come over here and we'll highlight you. And we'll highlight you. I might end up moving it back 1 too, I don't know yet. Cut. And give me something to stand on right here. Come on. Paste. See what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. A lot. Now they actually fit, because I can see where M was going here. I think these were going to be as escape pods. See, but that's deadfall. So I'll just adjust these rooms to work with these right here, which is very cool. Whoops. Very cool. So M actually already planned to have them there, so for the looks of it, these are like little escape pod points. So that's the reason why I moved them in too, so I knew these doorways were like that. So it's kind of wonder why you did that, and I know. Alright, so those are placed. Clear that. Yellow, don't worry about the yellow, that's only temporary. That's just to mark the outline of the actual escape pod part. Yeah, this one's missing its little thingy here. And thingy here. Get rid of those. It goes like that. And then it would be this one would be gone, that one would be gone, that one would be gone. So there we go. Yeah, looks okay there. Yeah, but what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and set up the other escape pods around this area and dead drop them, so we have an idea where they belong as well. And then I'll go in and adjust the interior spaces and corridor lines to make sure that they're all where they need to be. And go on from there, pretty much. Anyways, I do appreciate taking time to watch this Enterprise E prelim build. Hope you enjoy it, find it interesting. Again, if you would hit the like button or subscribe, it does help out mytrek.net, and I greatly appreciate taking time to watch. And have a great day. Bye bye.